Welcome back to Mac Music Review. This is easily the dopest, the coolest camera angle I've ever done. It's a little bit more lighted on this side than this side, but still, they're like trees all around me, and this just looks dope. This just looks really cool. Today I'm going to be reviewing the soundtrack for the movie Tron Legacy by Disney, released in 2010. Here's what it looks like. This soundtrack is really something. This soundtrack was produced by Daft Punk. Daft Punk literally did every single song on this album, and it's kind of like if Hans Zimmer, it's like Hans Zimmer meets electronic music. It's like if Hans Zimmer infused one of his soundtracks with electronic music, you would have this soundtrack. You would have the Tron Legacy soundtrack. Because some of this soundtrack is really huge sounding. It's really vast. It's these giant soundscapes. It's this really big atmospheric songs, which are really kind of dark, kind of heavy sounding. And then you have some of the songs with De-Resed, which are really upbeat, really fast, and they're, very electronic. They sound like something that Daft Punk would do. Yeah, like De-Resed, that just sounds straight up like a Daft Punk song. And then you have songs which are a bit of each, like The Game Has Changed, which starts off with this big cinematic, that's a great word to describe this soundtrack, is cinematic. It all sounds huge. One of the songs would be The Game Has Changed. It has this really big sound, and later into the song, electronic elements are infused into the song. And it's like a combination of Hans Zimmer and electronic music, and it's crazy. Anyway, this thing is 22 tracks long. Out of all the 22 songs in this album, none of them have words. All of them are done by Daft Punk. And this soundtrack is 2 minutes under an hour. This is actually a 58-minute soundtrack, score, whatever you want to call it. So there is plenty of music here. And in terms of the ratio of big orchestral, big sounding music to electronic music and EDM music, to really fast, upbeat EDM music, there really isn't a whole lot of that. There isn't a lot of really energetic stuff that you know Daft Punk for. There isn't a lot of really energetic, upbeat electronic music. Most of it is this big orchestral music that literally could just be produced by Hans Zimmer. But then some of the songs, I would say most of the songs, do have an electronic twinge to it to add to the Tron world. In case you didn't know, Tron Legacy is a movie based on the arcade game Tron, which you could see in an arcade, and so basically the whole world takes place in a video game, which is why Daft Punk did the soundtrack, because they do EDM music, and electronic music would fit in the context of like a video game world. And while it doesn't sound like retro video game music, it does sound like it sounds like electronic music. It sounds very modern, I don't know the word. Very technological. The music sounds very technological, very modern, very much like something that would be in a digital world. This soundtrack is really, really impressive. That's one of the things that people say about this movie is visually and musically, most people will not deny that this is a really, really impressive movie in terms of visuals and the music, because one, it looks really cool. It's very original, unique art style they did for the thing. They created an entire world, and they made all the visuals like based on the first Tron movie. This is actually like a remake / sequel to the first Tron movie by Disney, which is super old. This is Tron Legacy, released in 2010, and that's when the soundtrack was released. Anyway, this is super cool. The music makes you feel like you're in another world. It's huge, it's cinematic, and it's, at the same time, it's digital. It's electronic, it's technological, it's modern, and it just sounds like it's really original and unique music. The fusion of orchestral arrangements and electronic music. It's kind of like what you would end up seeing on Random Access Memories, except 3 years before Random Access was released. So this is really Daft Punk's first foray into a combination of EDM music, in terms of electronic music, EDM, and orchestral music, like an orchestra, like real instruments and stuff. So that is really cool. Derezzed is an awesome song. It's Daft Punk going their most energetic, their most crazy, their most upbeat, and it totally works. It just sounds awesome. Some other songs on this album are really upbeat and awesome. I don't exactly remember which ones, but literally one of the coolest songs on this album is The Game Has Changed. Like I said, it starts off really big, and it just feels like the theme of the world. The Game Has Changed just kind of feels like, or maybe related to the title, like something happened in the movie and now things are different, things are darker, things took a bad turn. And it's really huge and epic, and then as it goes along, near the end, like in the middle or near the end, electronic music starts glittering into the mix, and then it gets like whoa, 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 and it is awesome. That if you had to listen to one song from this album, listen to The Game Has Changed. It is totally awesome. Totally epic. Yep. This is a really, 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 really cool soundtrack. It's extremely original, extremely unique. I've never heard another soundtrack that sounds like this. It truly sounds like Daft Punk had a hand in this, and because they made it. My only complaint about this album would be that not all the songs have a ton of electronic music. And some parts of the album, some parts of this soundtrack, it feels like it could use a little bit more dashes of electronic, more dashes of Daft Punk, of something that really sounds like Daft Punk. Sometimes it really just sounds literally just like a regular orchestra, just kind of doing their thing, like Hans Zimmer was doing the soundtrack. But it's kind of you kind of want to hear more of the Daft Punk infused music, the stuff that Daft Punk had a hand in. That really sounds like Daft Punk did all the songs, but the songs that really sound like Daft Punk, that kind of have a Daft Punk vibe to them. Besides that, really, really awesome soundtrack. This is really well produced. Even these slower, more orchestral songs do sound really good. They do work really well. I'm going to give this album 4 stars out of 5. Have you seen the movie? If you've seen the movie, drop a like and subscribe if you've seen the movie. I don't know why I'm saying that. Have a great rest of your day.